Joining me now is Senator Alex Padilla of California and State Representative Chris Turner, chair of the Texas House Democratic Caucus. I want to start with you, Representative Turner. First, I have to talk to you about this threat to have you all arrested when you return to Texas and supposedly to track you down like the Fugitive Slave Act is still in force now. What do you make of that, those threats?
Well, good evening, Joy. Great to be with you. They're empty threats. As you stated, the governor, the state of Texas doesn't have jurisdiction outside the state of Texas. But moreover, Governor Abbott is just simply empty bluster. He does not have any authority to come after us. Governor Abbott has had a problem lately understanding the separation of powers. He's the executive branch. We're the legislative branch. He has tried to defund the legislative branch by vetoing our appropriations, and now he's threatening to arrest lawmakers, neither of which he has the constitutional authority to do. The Texas House of Representatives does have a rule that allows the Speaker and the remaining members there to compel a quorum. That is within their right. They authorized warrants. They did not issue warrants. But the reality is it's a civil matter. It's not a criminal matter because our members have committed no crime. Fundamentally, what we are doing is working for our constituents and fighting for democracy. That's what we're doing.
Well, what you're doing is showing, with all due respect to, I know we do have a D.C. Democrat that works on Capitol Hill on with us, but showing Democrats here in the Capitol how to fight. You met with the vice president today. You were part of the group that met with her. Did you leave that meeting feeling that you have a commitment that Democrats in D.C. will fight as hard as y'all are fighting? You all are taking the risks that, I think that the base of the Democratic Party wants to see taken all around the country. Did you leave there feeling that you have a commitment from the White House to do something to make sure voting rights pass federally, including getting rid of the filibuster?
Yeah. Well, we had a great meeting with Vice President Harris, and she reiterated her support and the president's support for seeing both these laws pass the Congress and get to the president's desk. That's of course not in doubt. She reiterated.
Yeah, we already know they support that. It's like, what do they say they're going to do? I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I apologize, but we know they support it. Biden gave a great speech today. What did they say they're going to actually do?
Well, they want to continue working with us and amplify our voices and ask us to amplify theirs. We continue to create the pressure and the public demand for the Senate to be able to pass both these laws and get them to the president's desk. And we briefed the vice president on what we've been doing. We've had a delegation of members working the Senate side today. We had a group of our members meet with Senator Padilla earlier today and some other senators. And we're going to continue to do that for the next several days. And our message is very simple. And we told the vice president this, that we have committed the Democrats in the Texas House to running out the clock in this special session. That'll end August 7th, to kill this bill. And we're going to use that time to spread the word about what a crisis this is for our democracy. But we can't do that forever, obviously. We have to go back to Texas. And so we need Congress and the U.S. Senate to act now to pass H.R. 1, which is already passed in the House, to also pass the Senate. And we need the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. We need them both.
Let me go to you, Senator Padilla. You're a newer member of the Senate, so perhaps the sort of intractability of it hasn't kicked in with you yet. But I mean, this is the reality. These representatives from Texas are very brave, and they are showing the meaning of the word fight. But they, as he said, they can't do it forever. And there's also a deadline when the August recess is going to kick in for the United States Senate. Look, when I was a young person. Congress used its power of compulsion to force my state, Colorado, to lower their speed limit to 55. They sure didn't want to do it, but they said, well, you don't get your highway funds if you don't do it. There's a lot of power of compulsion that the federal government has. I think a lot of people that are watching this show do not understand why the powers of compulsion are not being used to force these states back, to push them back, or to get the federal voting legislation passed.
There's only one reason why it hasn't been done already, and we'll say it again. It's the F word, the filibuster. So yes, put me down in the column of abolishing the filibuster, or at least a a carve-out, an exemption, whatever you want to call it, for the sake of saving our fundamental democracy. I really do commend the Texas legislators that are here making the case in the nation's capital, not just through the press, but for policymakers. The last time they were here, it made a difference. Prior to their first visit, we didn't even have Joe Manchin supporting the vote to debate the For the People Act on the floor of the Senate. Their presence here absolutely made an impact. We got to a 50-50 vote, still 10 shy of the 60-vote threshold required by the filibuster. But maybe their presence here and the examples that they're bringing of these voter suppression laws in Texas can continue to move not just the hearts and minds of the general public, but members of Congress as well. And I got to tell you, as we're trying to influence the public and highlight what's happening, it's not just Texas. You saw the sham of an audit in Phoenix, Arizona. You've seen what's happened in Georgia in recent months and in Alabama and in Iowa. Voter suppression is happening across the country, and that's why, yes, Congress needs to act.
But here's the thing, Senator, is that, you have maybe 10 senators who want to keep the filibuster. They seem to be clinging to that more than they are to democracy. They don't seem to have any urgency. They don't have the urgency you just described. Why would you go along with voting for their infrastructure bill? Manchin really wants that. Why don't some of you senators say, well, you don't get our votes on your precious infrastructure bill that you need for your politics if you don't give up the filibuster? Or why not say, there's got to be something Kyrsten Sinema wants other than to be on TV and mock, her own base. Why don't you say to her, you want my vote on this? You don't get it. You don't get your 50. You don't get your special stuff unless we get what we want. Why? I don't understand why senators are not using the leverage they have over the recalcitrant 10 or however many of them there are to say you don't get your way unless we get help on voting rights. It's more important than anything else.
Right. Look, and I may be new to the Senate, but I ain't new to politics. So don't think conversations along those lines may not be happening as we speak. But the point I'm trying to make here is with the presence of these heroes from Texas, it is making a difference. And so last go around, it moved at least one or two. This go around, hopefully it's another two, whether it's on the substance of the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, which is already supported bipartisan, or H.R. 1S1, or maybe the rules for the filibuster itself. It is making an impact. We need to hear from them more. We need to hear from other states. Congress needs to hear from the American people. And between President Biden's speech, the courage of these Texas legislators, and more of us continuing to speak out and bringing specific examples as to the harm here. One of the compelling examples that the Texas representatives made is the elimination of drive-through voting. What does that mean for voters with disabilities? And don't tell me that in Texas it's okay because they can vote by mail, because you know how restricted it is to be able to vote by mail in Texas. So we've got to call out these examples to really exemplify the true voter suppression, Jim Crow modern era that we're talking about here in state after state. Is all the more reason why we need these reforms to be done in Congress.
Representative Turner, is that compelling to you? Because it strikes me, I hate to say this, but it doesn't feel like people like Manchin and Sinema care about that. That doesn't seem to move them. So if you all are not able to commit, have you had a chance to talk with Manchin or Sinema? Have you met with either of them, Representative Turner?
So the last time I was in Washington about 3 weeks ago, I did have an opportunity to meet with Senator Manchin, actually right before I last came on your show, I think. And after that meeting, and I won't say it was all because of our meeting, but after that meeting, the senator did end up supporting moving forward on S1, the For the People Act, and of course was blocked by the filibuster. But there were 50 Democratic votes for that, which was, I think, certainly forward progress. But now that forward progress is halted again. So we are going to visit with Senator Manchin again this week. So some of our members will. We're hoping to meet with Senator Sinema certainly as well, and other senators on the Hill. And just what Senator Padilla was just saying, that's what we want our members, while they're here, to do, is let us tell you exactly what Republicans in Texas are trying to do. Yeah, banning drive-through voting, banning overnight voting, empowering partisan poll watchers to be able to literally look over someone's shoulder while they're casting a ballot and try to intimidate them. And Republicans have used poll watchers for decades in Texas to intimidate primarily African-American and Hispanic voters. And now they want to give them more power, to be able to do more intimidation. It's wrong. It's sick. It's anti-democratic. And that's the message we're trying to spread, how bad this vote suppression legislation is, which is why we need strong federal legislation, and we need it now.
Absolutely. I'm going to give you, one more sort of go at this, Senator Padilla. What do you think ends up? You know these people. You obviously, your fellow Californian is now the Vice President of the United States, but you also know these other senators. What is it going to take to get them to give up the filibuster?
Yeah, look, I think it's continuing to point out the hypocrisy. And here's the last thing I'll mention. For anybody on either side of the aisle who says we can't move forward on this because it should be done on a bipartisan basis, look what's happening, not just in Texas, but in state houses across the country. These voter suppression measures that are advancing are only being done on a partisan basis. Republican, partisan, voter suppression. Congress needs to respond, and time is of the essence.
Yeah, and they can't keep asking voters of color to vote for them if they won't even fight for the same voters and fight for them to keep their rights. They're just not going to be able to keep making the ask. Maybe that'll move them. You won't be able to get these votes anymore. Why would anyone want to fight for you to keep your power if you won't fight for us to keep our right to vote? It really makes no sense. Senator Alex Padilla and Texas State Representative Chris Turner, please convey to all of your colleagues how grateful the country is for you fighting for our democracy. Thank you very much.